Okay, we are here, day one. I don't know about you, but I'm really excited. And after we got a look at the new incursion, Yannick broke it down and explained basically what we're doing. You infiltrate the Merit Estate, and you're going against the cleaners. And I analyzed the gameplay trailer. I broke it down, and it basically looks like there are different stages to this. First, you start out in the courtyard, try and get into the building. Once you get into the building, you infiltrate certain areas as you make your way through the Merit Estate so you can rescue the hostages and finally kill the bosses, which look pretty dope. Anyways, I wanted to bring a build to you that will help you do this. I know this is going to help you even without you playing it before, because it's never failed me in any other content. Legendary, heroic, it doesn't matter. It never has failed me. I play with this mainly in legendary missions, and in legendary missions, it's Black Tusk. So they have things that jam you. They have other things that just stop you from using your skills. Even with that, I've never had a problem with this build. Now I know that there's a lot of fire because we're going against the cleaners, but you don't have to worry about that either because you're not shooting as much with this build. It's highly defensive and highly offensive at the same time. And I think this is the perfect build for you to go into the incursion with, because you know that the way they get the Yorubola SMG, there's a 10% drop rate. That's the only way you're able to get it. And there's a 1% drop rate from bosses. So I'm going to be playing with this build on all four of my characters, farming this every week so I can have 4 chances a week to get it. This is bringing back those old raid vibes where we were trying to get the Eagle Bear, where we were trying to get the Ravenous. But instead of the raid, it's an incursion. It still has the difficulty of a raid though. So let me tell you about this build, okay? It's been dubbed as invincible, invulnerable, invulnerable too. Basically, it's a build that allows you to soak up massive amounts of damage while dishing it back at the same time. And let me just quickly explain to you the philosophy of this, because elites beam your head. That's why they deal more damage to you. Purple bar and red bar enemies don't. They aim at your chest. And don't worry about the Ravenous. You don't have to have this. It's not a necessity, but it's great to have it, because what I do with the Ravenous, I pull this out when I'm going against them, because since they aim for my head and I have a ton of protection from elites, they don't deal any damage to me. So I'm able to just stand in front of them and use the Ravenous free will. Or you could just stand behind your deflector shield. They'll still shoot some of the shield, but you won't get damaged when they shoot you in the head, really. So it's the perfect combination, right? You have the protection from elites, so you can't get hurt when you're holding the shield when you're going against the elite, or you can use the Ravenous to delete them that way. As far as the purple bars and red bar enemies, they give me the most difficulty if I don't have my shield out, because they shoot me in the body, they shoot me in the back, and they could delete you really quick, okay? So here's the build setup. You're only going to be using the Ravenous and Deflector Shield. The specialization you want is the Technician specialization. And you can see in the background how crazy formidable this build is. Shotgunners are your friend, because even though they're elites, they try to aim at your head, but since there's a pellet spread with their shotgun, it's going to hit everything on the shield and deflect right back at them. And even when you take damage, the reason I have the Ridgeway's exotic chest piece is so that any enemy you bleed repairs your armor based on how many are bled within a 15-meter vicinity. So if you bleed 5 enemies in front of you, your armor is going to come back automatically. So this is the close range, in your face build that allows you to take charge in front of your teammates so they can apply the DPS and support you along the way. I think that is going to be really good for that courtyard area in the beginning when you try to advance and turn off that tanker or whatever you have to do. It's just going to be great for that, because there's going to be a lot of covering fire from the enemy when you try to get out in the open. And as soon as I saw the trailer, I thought of this build. So that's why I used the Ridgeway's Pride exotic chest piece. And pardon my voice, I'm just really excited right now. But the Ridgeway's not only gives you survivability, but if you look at the backpack, I'm using a Golan, the named Anarchist Cookbook backpack. And it has Perfectly Wicked. And this gives you 20% damage after you apply a status effect. So when you deflect those bullets back at the enemy with Ridgeway's Pride, after you bleed them, you're going to deal that extra damage. Okay, and it's why I have Sadist on my D50. It's the weapon you're going to be using while holding the deflector shield. Now, the purpose of having Technician specialization is so that you can have the Artificer Hive. This is what allows your shield to withstand all that damage it's going to take. As soon as it takes a certain amount of damage, the drone is going to heal your shield for a portion. And the more skill power you have, the more it's going to assist. You see that I have 3 skill tiers, but that doesn't mean that the deflector shield is a 3-tier shield. A long time ago when they did Warlords of New York, they made it so that if you have armor cores, this adds on to the tiers of the shield. So this is really a 6-tier shield if you look at it. Now the final name piece that I have is the Golan mask. It's called Chill Out, and this allows you to have 2 mods in the slot instead of 1. And as I said, it has a ton of protection from elites. These are the mods that you want to put in every single piece of your gear. So the maximum amount of protection from elites is going to be 70%. You could increase that with survivalist specialization because they give you 10% on the skill tree, but you don't want to give up technician specialization. Okay. Now everything on this build, every attribute is rolled to skill power and armor regeneration, so that whenever you take damage, you're going to be regenerating armor all the time. And that's the beauty of the improvised gear. They allow you to have mod slots where you would otherwise not be able to. You can't get a mod slot on knee pads, gloves, or holster. So this allows you to have 6 mods in your gear, giving you that 70% protection from elites. The skill power that's rolled is for the formidability of the deflector shield and also the damage that it dishes out once the bullets are deflected. If you want, you could switch out, since there's fire everywhere, since we're going against the cleaners. I honestly don't think it matters, because what fire does, when you're on fire, it stops you from aiming down sights. So it's going to be a lot harder for you to shoot. The thing is, with the deflector shield, it doesn't matter if you can't shoot, right? You're going to be holding that shield and the enemies are going to be getting their bullets deflected back at them. And then when you have a shot, you can pull out the Ravenous and go that way. So I just wanted to show you a build that would help you if you didn't know where to begin going into this incursion. It's going to have the difficulty of a raid, so it's nothing to play with. It's going to be easier to link up with players because it's only a 4-man group, which is great. It's so much easier to get linked up with 4 people instead of 8. And I think it'll be a lot less sweaty as far as how people act with raids. So if you want to get a quick group, join my Discord and link up with people. It's easy. You could pick your platform, PS5, Xbox, or PC. That way you can see who else in there is part of your platform, then send them a message. But otherwise, that's it for this build. Let me know what you think about it. Tell me other builds that you would go into the incursion with, and I might actually drop another one, maybe a Hasbro build. But I mean, obviously that's a no-brainer to go into an incursion that has tons of fire to go in there with hazard protection. I just think that this will be a great support build, actually, going into the new incursion. But let me know what you think about it down below. I appreciate you stopping by to the end. And make sure you drop a like and subscribe to my channel if you're new. I'll see you in my next video. Be right out.